little cash on the side at the expense of these people's emotions. That's not me. That's not Dan Wells. I can tell you that right now. And when I realized that I was starting to toy with people's emotions and maybe even hurt them for a lot longer time than just this show, maybe jade them for a long time, then I knew that was too much for me. I wasn't in the right place. I wasn't being true to me, who I am, toying with people's emotions. That's just not me. And I felt really bad, and I was no longer having fun on the show. I wanted out. It was interesting because throughout my life, I was just who I was. I never had to pretend until this show to be someone of a different sexual orientation. And the funny thing is all these guys, all these gay guys that I'm hanging out with, had spent years going through what I spent a few days doing, having to pretend that they had a different sexual orientation. And it's not easy trying to fit in sometimes when you feel like you have to pretend to be something you're not. And in this case, I had to pretend to be something that I wasn't. And once it got so emotional and so intense for me, I threw my arms up and said, I can't do this anymore. I need everyone to know who I am. And I think that parallels a transition that a lot of these guys had to go through during their lifetime when they threw their arms up and said, you know what? I can't do this anymore. Everyone needs to know exactly who I am. I'm a gay man.
By not choosing me, I believe that he's missed out on a lot of things. Both myself and James, we've a lot of similar interests, but we also have a lot of differences between the two of us, and somewhat seemed like the differences will kind of balance each other out, though, in a positive way. It's what James is looking for is what I'm looking for, which is, like a life mate, a partner. I don't, neither of us like dating. We don't like being in the scene anymore. And, I think he's missing out, on a friend, a companion, like a lover. Through this whole experience, I found out that I am a pretty jealous person. And I wonder if this had anything to do with James's decision for my elimination, because I told James that I was getting jealous of seeing him going on these dates with everybody else, and I told him that it was affecting me. And I wonder I do wonder if that had anything to do with the elimination. But I think the whole jealousy thing was a big thing, because I didn't realize how much of a jealous person I was. One thing that I would take from this experience is that I questioned for a while whether or not I really wanted to find my partner, because I am only 24 years old, or whether or not I still wanted to play the field a little bit. And I do now know that I'm sick of dating, and I want my partner, and I want to start to build that family and that friendship together. And with James, who knows if James would be that person, but I'm not giving up on James. And when I go back to LA, and when James goes back to LA, he's going to be hearing from me. To win this game, for me, I was just going to be me. I was not going to stoop to any level of backstabbing. I was not going to, I was just not going to try and manipulate the whole situation. And I could have, and there are two people right now who made it to the final three that if I had said something to James about, they might not be here right now. But I chose not to. And because I felt that was right. For those that see this program who are not, who don't have homosexuality in their life as much as we do, because first of all, being gay. I think it'll show them that, gay men are not the stereotype that they're like said to be in terms of chronically just want to have sex, open relationships and, doing all, just doing so much drugs and, and just like, that like that, there are a lot of gay men in this world who are just like straight men who just want to find their partner and they want to settle down and they want to be happy.
So talk to me about the experience of being in the closet in a way.
Okay. Being in that house was taking myself, in my heterosexual world and thrown into a homosexual one in which I have to act out as something that I'm not. I have to lie to people that, well, for starters, I've never met before, and they continue to after I've built up relationships under this guise, under this veil. And it was hard as hell. It was difficult on a daily basis. I mean, having conversations about the past or them opening up to me about old boyfriends and their first love, or when they when they knew that they were gay or when they came out of the closet. And here I have to fabricate this history, which is based primarily on, my own experiences as a kid, as well as fellow homosexual friends of mine, and what they felt when I asked, because I interviewed some of them, and it didn't seem like I had the grasp of the torment that some of them really went through when they were dealing with, or really grappling with being, homosexual in this really predominantly heterosexual community, as most of us grew up in. And it was hard. God, every day. People think I'm gay on a daily basis, so I deal with it constantly. And as a child, it was tough growing up when people, whether or not it was menacing, like calling me a fag at school and stuff like that, because they didn't like me, and people that were close to me saying, maybe you're gay, like family and friends, and said, I think he's gay. I think Franklin's gay. I'm like, no, and having to defend myself. No, I'm not gay. And then at the same time, homosexual friends of mine saying they had to grow up and say, no, it's not like a sickness. It's not like I can choose. It's just that way, period. And then them having to convince their family and friends saying, this is who I am. And if you don't love me for that, then you don't understand who I am. I have a lot of gay friends, and coming into the show, I kind of did my own research, and I spoke with them about their feelings about when they came out and how they dealt with it, and then I applied that to my own life and made it my own. At times I was making up answers on the fly. At other times I wasn't. I had a planned idea about when I came out of the closet, what my father felt, what my parents were like, what it was like in high school, when I did, etc. And the logistical questions I had down. It came with the more sideways questions that I couldn't really ever anticipate, or if I did, it would be exhausting. That where I had to everything was off the cuff. The physical stuff on the show was easy for me to convey, but the emotional stuff was the hard, because I had this daunting sense of guilt lying in the back of my head, knowing that I'm fooling these people that I'm really getting to know and that are opening up to me, and I'm doing it on a daily basis, and I'm here to really fool several people about the person that I really am, to prove something bigger. It was so hard every day. After every selection, I was standing up there saying, pick someone else. Don't pick me. Please don't pick me. And after that second selection, I think I even shed a tear, but I was like, this is not going to get easier. This is only going to get harder. And it wasn't until when we arrived back to the house after the three of us were left that it was just